What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon NFL DFS video. We are breaking down the main slate, the 10-game main slate for Week 13. So we're going to try something a little bit different this week. And if you've been with us with our MLB content, you kind of know we're going to break it down game by game and plays that we like. And then at the end, we're going to build you a DraftKings lineup, a Fanduel lineup, and a Yahoo lineup. So stick around. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We have giveaways every single video. Here's how to win. Like this video, be a YouTube subscriber to this page, and leave a comment on this video. If the video gets at least 50 likes and you've left a comment, you have a chance to win a free week of FTA+. 100 likes on the video, a chance at a free month. 150 likes, a free year. 200 or more likes on this video, a chance at a lifetime pass to FTA+, which you can find right here. If you want to check out all the other content, we have the rankings out there. At the end of this video, I will link you guys to the top 5 stacks of the week. We've got that video out there. We have the Sunday Night Football breakdown between the 49ers and the Bills. We will have a Monday Night Football breakdown between Cleveland and Denver as well, coming probably Sunday night, give or take, or Monday morning. So if you have never been here before, hopefully you can check us out. If you want to check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, if you like what we bring here, we have premium content as well. So I break down a lot of things in this video. It might seem a little bit longer to you, but hopefully it's to become a better DFS player by listening and getting in a different mindset. So we do have FTA Plus, which is $10 a week. We have a $30 pass for monthly, $199 for a year, and $499 for a lifetime. We actually have 2 coupon codes going right now. If you want to get half off your first month or the half off this next month, all you got to do is go here, click Join FTA Plus, and use the promo code Black Friday. All one word, all capital letters. You'll get the first month for $15. If we still have 1 coupon code left, so first come, first serve. But if you like what we've done, if you've been with us for a week and you like and you want to see more, $199 for a year, but if you use the promo code NBA is back, that's NBA is back, all one word, all capital letters, you're going to get a yearly pass for $74.99 while supplies last. So make sure you check that out. And lastly, we talked about giveaways. We talked about this channel right here. This is our second channel, the history of. We talked about anyone who went and saw the history of the NFL video, subscribe to this channel, and left a comment on this video will have a chance to win a free month of FTA+. So that is what we're going to do. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to get everything ready to go. We're going to have the giveaway for that, and then we're going to have the giveaway from last week's video of the breakdown, because we hit, on that video, we hit 50 likes exactly. Only 4 comments, though, which was kind of crazy. So no one won for any keyword or anything, so we're just doing a weekly pass for the 50 likes. So let me pause this and get it ready, and we'll rock and roll. Okay, so first things first, we're going to have the giveaway for anyone who's checked out the history channel. If you have not already and you want to, it would be awesome to get in there and help the algorithm out by watching the entire video, commenting on the videos. We've started with the history of the NFL, then we did the history of the Cowboys, and we're going to do every single team for that. Then we're going to do every single team for MLB, and then I'm up for your suggestions on what you guys would like to see. So that being said, let's rock and roll. This is the winner of a free month just for commenting on that history page. And the winner is Every Day is Sunday 6726. Congratulations. Please email me dfshelp1@gmail.com. That's dfshelp, the number 1 at gmail.com. I think you have an account on the site, or at least I've seen your name comment a ton. If you do have an account on the site, let me know it. If you do not, let me know a username and email, and we will get you set up for your free month. Now, we are going to have a giveaway for last week's video getting at least 50 likes, and it was 50 on the dot, and someone will win a free week right now. So 50 likes and only 4 comments, so it's going to be pretty easy. We're just going to roll it. You have a 1 in 4 chance of getting a free week here. It's not too hard. I don't think we've ever had just 4 comments on 50 likes, but congratulations, Panola family. This is your week because 4 people were commenting. You are 1 of 4. So please email me, and we will get you set up. Let me know your username and email you would like on the website, and we will get you set up. Now, as always, these videos are sponsored by Outlier.bet. The link is down below to sign up, get a 7-day free trial, whether or not you're doing this or sports betting. Make sure you check it out. We will do sports bets at the end of this video as well. We will get ready. Hopefully, we're able to bring home the bacon with you guys. So make sure you check out Outlier. Make sure you click the link down below our free Discord is down below too. So if you want to check that out, make sure you click in to the free Discord. So as always, outlier.bet, we appreciate you. Now, this is what we're kind of going to base off a little bit. I'm going to move this over to this screen, but this is our matchup tool. It's a completely free tool under the NFL tab, under the matchup tool. We've got the volume reports, the snap counts, red zone stats, fantasy points allowed by position. We've got everything for you. We have a lot of free content and some FTA plus content as well. So this is kind of how we're going to go. We're going to go game by game, and so we're going to do it just like we did MLB. So we're going to go game by game and player by player that we like. So it might be a little bit longer video, but hopefully you're able to find out some things and become way better at this DFS thing that we're all trying to be very good at. So I'm going to move this over here, and we are going to get started. So looking at this game, the Chargers at the Falcons, Kirk Cousins, Justin Herbert. So if we look at this, the Atlanta Falcons against the quarterback, they rank 28th out of 32. So Justin Herbert is in a great spot here. Then we look at the Los Angeles Chargers against the opposing quarterback. They rank 20th, giving up an average of 17.9. I like both of these quarterbacks here. There will be some options. If you want to see the order we like quarterbacks in, our rankings articles are live on the website, which that could help you out. But I'm okay with both of these quarterbacks. So we would go in that situation. You obviously want to stack your quarterback with one or two of their pass catchers, or if they have a really good running back, that makes a ton of sense as well. So that's where I'm going in this one. I won't have either defense. I will have both quarterbacks. Running back situation, if we're looking at Atlanta against the run, they rank 13th, only giving up 24.2 or 22.4. And then if we look at the Chargers defense against the opposing, they rank 5th, 19 fantasy points is what they're giving up. So Dobbins being on the IR obviously brings up Gus Edwards at 4,300. Game log wise, I'm okay with that. But again, the defense he's going against is pretty good. Bijan here going up against the Chargers. Their defense is pretty good as well. Just seeing the matchup, you can see they rank 15th, giving up an average of 119, but ranked number one. The Chargers rank number one of points allowed per game. So maybe in tournaments I have Bijan, but I'm probably staying clear of the running game in this game here. I will go to the wide receivers, though. A lot of people were on Quentin Johnston last week. He did absolutely nothing. I get that. I will have some sort of pairing of Kirk and Drake London, Kirk and Darnell Mooney. I will have Ladd McConkey in there. And I might go back to the well a little bit with Quentin Johnston just because of how bad he was last week. That might scare off some people, so we could get some leverage on there. Because the Falcons against the secondary and the wide receivers, 29 out of 32, giving up an average of 39.2. And then on the flip side of that, the Chargers are kind of good. They're 14 out of 32. They still give up an average of 31.6, though. So all signs point in this game to maybe more of a Chargers-centric stack over a Falcon stack, but I will have exposure to both. Tight end-wise, I mean, Kyle Pitts is there and Will Dissly. Those are really the only two that I would look at. If we look at the tight ends here, Falcons against the tight end ranked 12th, giving up an average of 10.8. Chargers against the opposing tight ends ranked 10th, 10.7. So maybe a little bit, but I probably would stay away from tight ends and running backs, go with the quarterbacks and wide receivers in this game. So we move to the second game, Pittsburgh at Cincy. And this is what we can look. We can use Outlier if you want. This game right here has a 47.5 over-under with Cincy being a 3-point favorite. So we look at that. I love me some Russell Wilson here. The Cincinnati defense has been atrocious. Absolutely atrocious in this season. Joe Burrow it's not his fault. Pittsburgh's defense, they are really good. And you kind of look at that. That's kind of where we're at. Cincy against the opposing quarterback ranked 26 out of 32. And then Pittsburgh against the opposing quarterback ranked number one. They're the best team against the opposing quarterbacks, only giving up an average of 13.3. Now, Joe Burrow, while I think people will be off of him because of his matchup, his defense is what's going to scare me. If I were to take one, I would pay down and take Russell Wilson and stack him. Now, Cincy against the running backs, they're very bad as well. They can't stop anyone in the red zone. They rank 20th out of 32. They've actually been decent, 9th overall against the running back. But if they get in the red zone here, I think Najee takes at least one in, if not two. So in this game, I will stack both. I will have Joe Burrow and I will have Jamar Chase, maybe a little bit of T. Higgins. Chase Brown, I love Chase Brown. I will have Chase Brown in there. I'm going to have him as a touchdown scorer in our parlays. But I'd rather take Russell Wilson, George Pickens, Freiermuth, and Najee Harris. Not all in the same lineup, but I will have a bunch of Russell Wilson this week. I absolutely love Russell Wilson this week in this matchup. As long as the weather holds up, this Cincy defense does not scare me whatsoever. A little bit of Joe Burrow, but if you were to ask me, I would rather go Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh over Joe Burrow in Cincy. Houston and Jacksonville, I love C.J. Stroud this week. He's got the best matchup for quarterbacks. They have the best matchup. Jacksonville is dead, second to last, giving up 31 out of 32 against the running back. Against the wide receiver, Jacksonville is ranked 30th out of 32. They are very bad. I will have C.J. Stroud. I think he bounces back this week. I absolutely love C.J. Stroud, probably my favorite stack target this week. C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, and Joe Mixon will see a ton of exposure in my lineups that I make today. Flip side of that with Jacksonville, Mac Jones being the quarterback, I really want nothing to do with that. I'd rather take Houston defense, C.J. Stroud, Joe Mixon, and Nico Collins in this game. I am avoiding Jacksonville pretty much altogether. Arizona, Minnesota. I think Kyler could ball out in this game. I really do. I will have a lot of exposure to Kyler Murray too. He's had some really high highs and some really low lows. But if we look at this situation, Minnesota against the opposing quarterback, they rank 16th right in the middle. I don't care. Kyler can run it as well. They've given up Minnesota's actually intercepted it 16 times, but also given up 17 touchdowns. They've given up 95 yards through the air against quarterbacks. And the flip side of that, Arizona against the opposing quarterback ranked 10th. So, Sam Darnold's okay, but I think I'd rather take Kyler Murray in this one. We see the Arizona Cardinals against the running back, 22 out of 32, 24.6 fantasy points. So you would look at James Conner. We look at Minnesota against the opposing running backs. Or Arizona, you would look at, for running backs, you would look at Aaron Jones. I will have more exposure I'll have a little bit of exposure to Aaron Jones. I don't think I'm going to have James Conner. If I'm looking at Arizona, I'm looking at Kyler Murray. I'm looking at Marvin Harrison Jr. You could look at Trey McBride a little bit as well, or maybe a little bit of Michael Wilson. If you go Sam Darnold, you're going Darnold with Jefferson, and that's probably it. So that's where I'm at in this one. I will have a lot of exposure. I love Kyler Murray this week against Minnesota. Okay, so we're going to move to the next game, which is Indy at New England, and we can take a look at this game just to kind of see if there's anything we like there. So if you want to use Outlier to look at this, you can. Again, not necessarily, but we've got Indy being a 2.5-point favorite. We've got an over/under of 42.5, so we can look at that. So if we dig into the matchup tool and we look at how each team does against the opposing quarterbacks, we are looking at, obviously, Drake May, Anthony Richardson. So, looking at Indy against the opposing quarterbacks, they currently rank 23 out of 32, giving up an average of 18.3 on DraftKings. And then if we look at how New England does against the opposing quarterbacks, 14th, 17.4. So, we already know that Josh Downs is out. So, if we are looking at the other ones, Ramondre Stevenson, I'm okay with. If we look at Indy against the opposing running backs, they are 26 out of 32. New England is 20 out of 32. So they're decent. Obviously, we've got Jonathan Taylor. You're paying a pretty penny at $6,900 for him. You look at the game logs, hasn't done anything a lot. He's got 5 touchdowns on the year, 708 yards total. It's a pay up there. I don't mind him, but I can't maybe save $1,000 and go with Stevenson. The problem with Ramondre, he can't hold on to the ball as much as we would like. Still has 7 touchdowns, 598 yards there. There's just other options for running back that I would look at. That's probably where I would look at that one. Wide receiver-wise, if we are going either quarterback, with Downs being out, obviously Pittman's number 1. Mitchell is that 3,900, but he's not doing much. Alec Pierce would make sense if he's questionable. We'll kind of wait there. If we're looking at New England guys, Demario Douglas is one I would look at. Kendrick Bourne is another one that I would look at there. Other than that, There's KJ Osborne, but he hasn't done anything much overall. It's 1 touchdown, and that's it. So I'm probably fading this game. Tight end wise, Hunter Henry makes sense. Austin Hooper maybe a little bit, but I'd rather go Hunter Henry. You just don't know what we're going to get for Indy. They have so many tight ends. You never know. I'm probably avoiding this game altogether. There's just other games that we do like. Next game, we have Seattle versus the New York Jets. We've got Geno Smith versus, we were thinking maybe Aaron Rodgers gets sat this week. It's not the case. He is starting. So we're looking at these two teams. Obviously, Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has not had the best 2024, we'll put it that way. But if we look at the opposing defenses, New York Jets defense against the opposing quarterback, they rank 11th, giving up 16.6. Running backs, we're looking at New York Jets here. They rank 11th there, 21.6 against the wide receivers. The Jets rank first, so they're very good against the wide receivers. So that takes, Metcalf, JSN, Lockett, Bobo, Laviska Shenault Jr. kind of takes them out of the running. The Jets secondary, very, very good. Against the tight end, the New York Jets are 5th. So they're really good against the tight end and the wide receiver. If we look at the flip side of that and we look at Seattle's defense against the opposing team, Seattle against the quarterback ranks 12th, giving up 16.9. Against the opposing running backs, 18th, so they do give up 23.7. So now the only problem is when we look at this, Breece Hall's not 100%. He's questionable going into this game. He's expected to play because he was a full participant. So it just depends on what we're going to get out of Breece Hall. But I would say if Breece Hall is good enough to play, you plug him in there for season long. For tournaments and GPP and DFS, I don't know if we need to see this game much. Flip side of that, wide receivers for Seattle against them, they rank 18th, giving up 33.7. So again, we are looking at such as Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson. That's really, you got Xavier Gibson, doesn't do much, more special teams. So it's basically Adams and Wilson. Could you go ahead and do an Aaron Rodgers, Adams, and Wilson stack? You sure could. Or Adams, Breece Hall, and Rodgers, I'm okay with. This is another game I might avoid. So we'll just kind of go through there. I think if I'm taking this game, I would rather have Geno in Seattle. But that Jets defense, they're pretty good. I will not lie. So we can move to the next game. Tennessee at Washington. We do have some weather concern here. If we look, obviously we know Jaden Daniels is great, averaging 20.2 fantasy points per game. He's 7,200. Tennessee's defense against the opposing quarterback, they rank 18th, giving up an average of 17.8. Against the running back, they rank 10th, so they're pretty good against the running back. Brian Robinson is back. Now Austin Eckler is on the IR, so it has flip-flopped. We loved Eckler last week. Now he's done. You obviously have Jerry McNichols here that he could come through, didn't really do anything. So Robinson Jr. being back is there. Bigger role because, again, the other guy's out. The other guy who's going against him in targets and snaps is out of the game. So Robinson Jr. I'm okay with because Tennessee against the opposing running backs, they rank 10th, give up 21.3. Against the opposing wide receivers, Tennessee ranks 3rd, so they're pretty good in the secondary. And then tight end, Tennessee ranks 8th. Now, Washington's defense, it's an enigma sometimes. We don't know what we're going to get. But if we look at Washington against the opposing quarterback, Washington they rank 17th, give up 17.7. Against the running back, 17, 23.3. Wide receiver, 17, 33.5. Tight end, 15. Now, I honestly, call me crazy, Will Levis at 5,000, you could stack with him. I don't know if I would look at Tony Pollard or the run game. I would look at Westbrook-Ikine. Now, he has scored a touchdown in 2 straight games, missed one there, but has 6 touchdowns on the year and only 304 yards. He's absolutely on fire right now. He's on a heater. Cheap option at 4,300. This stack right here, Westbrook-Ikine and Will Levis, you could do some damage with. You also have Calvin Ridley, He's got double-digit fantasy points, except for the game against Minnesota, which their defense is okay. 93 yards last week against Houston in that game that they beat Houston. I don't mind Calvin Ridley, Will Levis, and Westbrook-Ikhine. I would not be surprised if that is a sneaky stack here. Obviously, everyone's going to be on Jaden McDaniels, Terry McLaurin, Brian Robinson. Pivot a little bit, go Tennessee-Washington game. Go with a little bit of Tennessee. Weather might be a concern, but that's kind of one that I don't mind. Tampa Bay at Carolina is next. Now, I will tell you, Tampa Bay's defense, both of these defenses, not the best. So if we look at Tampa Bay's defense against opposing quarterbacks, Tampa Bay, they rank 31st out of 32, giving up an average of 23.4. Against the opposing running backs, Tampa Bay ranks 25th, giving up 25.8. Against the opposing wide receivers, Tampa Bay 27th, giving up an average of 37.6. And then against the tight end, Tampa Bay's defense, they rank 28 out of 32. They're in the bottom 5 against the opposing team. That's Bryce Young. That's Carolina. So if we're looking at Carolina's side, Bryce Young as a stack. Running back, Chuba Hubbard. I mean, he's been on fire. He's got 8 touchdowns. He had a touchdown last week on the ground. He had a touchdown the week before. He had 2 touchdowns the week before that. He gets some pass catches as well. He's absolutely on fire. I think this game, oddly, could be a shootout. So if we look at what it is here on Outlier, over under 46.5, with Tampa Bay being a 6-point favorite, I could see this being a shootout. I could see Carolina, I could see them covering the 6, if not taking this as a win. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Carolina, a sneaky stack, I do not mind whatsoever. Hubbard, Bryce Young, maybe a little bit of Xavier. Doesn't done a ton. You got Adam Thielen, though. He's back. 4,800. Just feels like one of those vintage Thielen games. He's played 4 weeks. He came back from IR last week against Kansas City. 4 targets, 57 yards. It's just, Thielen is one of those slot receiver guys that I absolutely love. So I do not mind a Bryce Young, Adam Thielen, Chuba Hubbard type stack where everyone will be on Xavier Legette. That's kind of what I'm looking at. But on the flip side of that, Carolina's defense, not ideal either. Against the quarterback, they rank 29th. Against the running back, Carolina ranks 32nd, dead last. Against the wide receiver, Carolina ranks 13th. So they're pretty good against the wide receiver. But again, I think if this is a shootout, Baker Mayfield's going to have to toss the ball up a ton. And then against tight ends, Carolina against tight end, dead last, 16.5. So we are looking at a Baker Mayfield. This one right here, defense out the window. I don't want the defense here. I will have exposure to Mayfield and Young. I will have exposure to Hubbard, probably Bruce Irving, or Bucky Irving, sorry. Maybe a little bit of Rachaad White. Wide receivers, I love me some Adam Thielen in this game. Mike Evans in this game, I'm okay with. Tight ends, K. Dotton, 100%. Give me that K. Dotton right here. I am very excited for this game. I don't think defense will be playing in that game. Moving to the Rams at the New Orleans Saints, you have an over-under 49.5, so a very high over-under with the Rams only being a 2.5-point favorite. So could be a sneaky game here that maybe we want to look at a little bit. So what side are we going to be looking at? What side do you guys want to be looking at? Let's take a look. So, obviously, Matt Stafford, Derek Carr, we know that. Both kind of cheap options here, but if we dig into the numbers and look at the defenses. So the Rams defense against the opposing quarterback, they rank 13th, 17.3 fantasy points per game, which would be more fantasy points than he is averaging a game. So could be a good little outage there. If we're looking at the Rams versus the running back, they're ranked 24th, giving up an average of 24.9. So Alvin Kamara makes a ton of sense here. Kyron Williams makes a ton of sense as well. Those are the two that I would look at, obviously. Wide receivers, the Rams against wide receivers ranked 21st, giving up an average of 35. So we're looking at, obviously, MVS tipped in a little bit. Wilson Jr., I don't mind. You could be looking at them. And then tight end wise, the Rams tight end against them, 24th, giving up 13.8. So The tight end, obviously Taysom Hill. Now, Taysom Hill obviously makes a ton of sense because he runs the ball, he catches the ball, he throws the ball. He's coming off 46.52. Hopefully it's not that one game a year that Taysom Hill feasts, but he had 10 targets. He had 50 yards. He had 138 rushing yards. He had 3 rushing touchdowns. He's got a great matchup here against the Rams, who are not good against this. 5,000 for him, and he can pass touchdown. I mean, 34-year-old, absolutely on fire. Taysom Hill, one of my favorite tight ends of the week, and he's very cheap at 5,000. So I don't mind him whatsoever. But let's look on the flip side of this. QBs. How do New Orleans stack up? New Orleans Saints, 20th against the QB, 12.2. That was tight end. New Orleans against the opposing quarterback, 15th, 17.6. Against the running backs, 27th, giving up an average of 26.5. So if we look at that, Kyren Williams makes sense. At 7,200, wouldn't be surprised if he gets a touchdown as well. Wide receivers, New Orleans secondary, ranked 26 out of 32, giving up an average of 37.3. So obviously Cooper Kupp is there. Puka Nacua is there. Save a little bit of money with Kupp. He's cheaper. You've also got maybe a little bit of Demarcus Robinson. I could definitely see. The problem is there's so many targets for Stafford to throw to. Kind of hard to narrow it down. But if we look at tight ends, this is where it gets a little crazy. So Higbee is out. Wasn't he back? No. Okay, so yeah, Tyler Higbee's still out. So that is up to Colby Parkinson and Davis Allen. And again, like I said, there's so many mouths to feed in this Rams offense that the Saints, they rank 20th against the tight end. It's probably Parkinson, but I would rather probably go Stafford, Kyren Williams, and Cooper Kupp if I am stacking here. But again, that's kind of where I'm at. It's a high over-under. Could be a sneaky game there. Then we have a game that hopefully, there is some weather concern in Baltimore, but hopefully we get to see some fireworks in this game. And I think we will, and I think it should be a pretty damn good game. So, over-under on this game, 50.5. Baltimore being a 3-point favorite. I want some exposure here. Obviously, Lamar Jackson. I think both quarterbacks are in play. I think both running backs are in play. At the top, obviously, Barkley coming off a monster game, 49.2. Back-to-back monster games. 3 of his last 4 games have been 36-plus fantasy points. It's hard to beat that. If you look at the Baltimore defense against the quarterback, they rank 30th out of 32. So obviously Jalen Hurts makes a lot of sense. Against the running back, they rank 8th. So they're pretty good. But again, it's Saquon. I'm not worried about that. Against wide receivers, Baltimore secondary, 31 out of 32. So we're looking at A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith, I'm off of. We're looking at A.J. Brown. Maybe that's basically it, though. I mean, Jahan Dotson's there. Really hasn't done much, though, but he's got a great matchup. And then tight end-wise, Baltimore rank 25th out of 32. So Dallas Goedert makes sense as well. And I don't know why I'm losing my voice again. Flip side of that, Philly's defense. I'm still using Lamar Jackson. We know this. Against the quarterback, they rank 5th. But again, it's Lamar. Against the running back, Philly ranks 3rd. So they're pretty good. But again, it's Derrick Henry. It's very hard to stop him. Eagles against the wide receiver, 29.9 fantasy points. They rank 9th. So this Phillies defense is actually pretty good. They could be a sneaky defense that people might not be on. And then against the tight end, you've got Philly here. They rank 3rd and giving up an average of only 9 fantasy points. So you want to get sneaky and creative. While people will be on Lamar, you could look at Eagles defense at 2,600. But again, we obviously know this offense for Baltimore is crazy. But if you want to pay down with an under-owned defense, I do not mind that whatsoever. So in conclusion of each position real quick, I would pay, I'm not using anyone from Trevor Lawrence further down. Will Levis I will use at 5,000 because he is so cheap. But quarterbacks that I do like this week, Bryce Young is crazy, but I like his matchup there. I like C.J. Stroud a lot against Jacksonville. I like Kyler Murray. I like love Russell Wilson against the Cincy defense. Jalen Hurts makes a lot of sense that I do like as well. And I think he's going to have to throw the ball a lot. Baker Mayfield. So there you have it for the quarterbacks that we do like, the stacks that we like. If you want to see the actual stacks, the top 5 that we have, that video will be linked here at the end of this video. The keyword to type to have a weekly giveaway is Nooners. If you have any questions, do not hesitate. Type the keyword as Nooners. Now what we're going to do is we're going to build a couple of lineups using SaberSim. I'm going to pause the video and get it all set up, and then we'll build a lineup on DraftKings, Fanduel, and Yahoo. So using our knowledge, what we built, using SaberSim on this screen, let's get a little creative and build a Bryce Young stack. Like I said, I wanted Thielen in there. I want Chase Brown because I think his volume is massive. So if you look at Chase Brown, 22 attempts, 13, 27. He's also getting targets there. He's getting the fantasy points. He's 6,200. People will be off of him. I want Chase Brown there as well. So the other ways we can go about this is if we're looking here, if we get Nico Collins, if we get defense, you want to go down. I'm not using the Jags. I'm not using the Panthers. I'm not using the Titans. Cardinals is interesting because of how Sam Darnold has been turning the ball over. Jets is okay against their former quarterback in Geno, but they really haven't done a ton. Saints I'm off of. Falcons I'm off of. Got the Bengals, Ravens, Steelers. We can't really use the Steelers because we have Brown there. So we see the Bucks are at the top. I'm not using the Bucks. Texans, I will use the Texans. So now we're at 5,700. We got a running back and some wide receivers here. So if we go in a tight end, so if we're looking at our tight ends, Taysom Hill, I want Taysom Hill at 5. Okay. So you got Bryce Young, throwing it to Thielen. I want Chuba Hubbard as well. So that's the stack I'm going with. So we're at 5,600 for a wide receiver and a flex. So if you come down here and you look at the wide receivers in that range, Mooney against the Chargers we've looked at. You've got Pittman, who, you could look at Pittman. MVS is there. You got Tyler Lockett I'm not looking at. You got Josh Palmer, but Palmer really has Westbrook Akine. I want Westbrook Akine in there. Now we're at 6,900 for a flex. So we're looking at that. Jonathan Taylor I'm probably not using. Garrett Wilson could be in store. George Pickens. I want George Pickens against Cincy. That is what I'm going with. A Bryce Young stack. I don't think people are going to be on it. That's one lineup on DraftKings. If you want to see even more, you can go to the NFL tab, go down and cheat sheet. We'll have multiple different lineups, and that is one way to build. So that's one lineup using SaberSim, using what they've got. They think about projected score of 145.5, 170% ownership, QB +2, which is the wide receiver in Adam Thielen, and Chuba Hubbard. So that's one lineup. So I will pause this video. I will bring it up for FanDuel, and we will rock and roll on a FanDuel lineup. So we're going to go a little bit different direction here on FanDuel. It spit out a different lineup for us here, which I'm okay with. We'll make a little bit of tweaks of it. So Justin Herbert, I'm going to put him in there. We've already talked about Chase Brown being one of the running backs that I do like here. Obviously, Justin Herbert's got to throw to someone. He's going to throw to Ladd at 6,300. We look at this. George Pickens makes sense for me. So we've got that there. Looking at tight ends, depending on the pricing. So you can see Taysom Hill is 7,000. He's very expensive on FanDuel. I love George Kittle as my number one this week. You can go check out the rankings like we've talked about. But we can find other positions that we like. Maybe coming down here, a Pat Freiermuth, I don't mind at 5,100. I will take Pat. So we'll save a little bit of money there instead of going up. So it initially said Zach Ertz. We're going to save 300 and go with Freiermuth there. So we still need a second running back. That just depends on the lineup that they want. They've got Alvin Kamara and Jonathan Taylor there. I just do not trust Jonathan Taylor as much. And do not forget, guys, on FanDuel, the main slate does include the Sunday Night Football game, but just FYI. So if we look at a possibility of, going a little bit cheaper, you can. It's not much down here that I would go with, that I would feel at least comfortable with. So we're probably going to stay up towards the Bucky Irving at 7,200, Chuba Hubbard at 7,400, because we're averaging about 6,500 the rest of the way. So I'm going to go with Chuba Hubbard there. We're at 6,200, and we need a defense. So you can see the Texans defense is 5,000. We're averaging about 6,200, so we'll save a bit of money. I do not trust Tampa Bay there. I am intrigued by Buffalo's defense because it depends on the quarterback that plays for San Francisco, and it's cold. The stadium, as I make this video on Saturday night, is absolutely buried under snow. So that's an option you could look at. Could look at a little bit. I mean, you can come down here, get crazy and go Philly at 3,800. You could go the Jets against the Seattle Seahawks. Let's go with the Jets at 3,700. Now, for a wide receiver in flex, we're at 7,450. So wide receiver, 7,450, depending on where you want to go. Ones we've already talked about. We've got George Pickens in there. Marvin Harrison Jr. makes a lot of sense. He's got a great matchup against Minnesota secondary. Now we're at 8,000 for a flex. Garrett Wilson, KW the third, but we've got the Jets defense, so we don't want to go that way. Terry McLaurin has let us down way too much. James Cook, George Kittle at 7,800. JSN, you could look at. Aaron Jones has a great matchup against Arizona. So if you look at that matchup for Aaron Jones, coming off 106 yards, 22 attempts, what I want out of my flex is someone who's going to touch the ball 20 plus times, or let's say 15 plus times. And that, my friends, is Aaron Jones. So there's your lineup. We have a small stack of Justin Herbert with Ladd McConkey. Love Hubbard, love Chase Brown, George Pickens, Marvin Harrison, Freiermuth, Jones, and the Jets defense. And finally, we are going to do our Yahoo lineup. Not a ton of you play it, but some of you do, and we're here for you. Okay, so we've gone a little bit different in this lineup. Yahoo, the pricing's a little bit different for what I wanted to do, but I still stack C.J. Stroud with Joe Mixon and Nico Collins. I love their matchup there against Jacksonville. I threw in Ramondre Stevenson, which you could go a little bit lower. It just depends on where you want to go with running back. We've got Ray McLeod against the Chargers. Michael Wilson, because I think maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. could be double teamed, so it could open up Michael Wilson. Love Kate Otten against Carolina this weekend. Pat Freiermuth against Cincy, and then the Jets defense there. So a lot of different directions we could go with, and that's kind of what I want to do. This is an initial lineup. The lineups we build here on this channel are GPP. If you want to see cash lineups, you want to see NFL chalk, we've got all of that on the website. Go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. I did say we were going to do bets at the end of this video, but I don't want it to be even longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you, go to our Discord, which the link is down below, and we will give out some prop bets for the main slate. We'll also have prop bets for Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football later on in the day, or Monday afternoon. So make sure you go check out all of that information. If you liked it this way, let me know. If you liked it the previous ways, where we just have our on-screen with SaberSim and we go through each position that way, let me know that as well. But a lot of you guys love how we did MLB and broke game by game down. I think I like it this way, but would love to know what you guys like. So that's what I've got in this video. Any questions, comments, concerns, get those down below. Good luck in week 13. Let's bring home some bacon, guys. Peace.